to a point of understanding about something.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, it looks like it had stopped and started recording again. Never mind.
Okay. Huh.
So, what we're looking at now is this internal representation that we respond to. That's what kicks us. Is this internal representation. This is called pasa. So the real world doesn't really contact us. What contacts us is our understanding, our internal point to it. So let's say that we see someone angry and we hear what they're saying. We can process that and we can say, okay, he's angry at me and he's wrong and I'm going to get angry too. But that may have not been the case. You might have just assumed that he was angry at you, and he might have been angry at something that happened and you were next to it.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So first perception is actually not the direct thing, but our normal mode of experiencing things is mediated over our perception over this contact, which is something different than what's happening.
It's right, and it's based upon memory. We use our old past memory systems to figure out how to process this data, and that's where we make a mistake. Because the older the processing data we use, the more likely we're going to be wrong. And we need to start using more up-to-date, correct data. And if we're practicing Dhamma, then we need to be using really Dhamma data rather than the old ways of how we used to feel. So now we're developing this thing that the Salayatana creates contact. Contact means that it's hit us. It's got an emotional impact. So now let's look at what's the results of that contact. It hit us. It's almost like being in line at the grocery store and somebody comes up behind you and hits you. It contacts us, takes us notice, okay? And what arises from contact is feeling. And these feelings are going to be according to the internal representation that was built upon our old feeling system. So more than likely how we're going to feel is a memoried feel that was brought up due to the way that we process the data. Because we have feeling habits. Now here's something very important, and that is human beings, because of the society that we lived in the old days, everything was dangerous. Everything was a survival issue. As we built our society, we really didn't take all the bugs out of it. And so there's still a lot of suffering going on. Basically, what that means is that human beings now in our modern society spend far more time and effort in bad feelings and very little time in good feelings. So more than likely, the kind of feelings that are going to be arising is the bad feeling of I don't like it. But it also can arise the feeling of I do like it, and if I like it, then it can become lust or I want it. I want it. And if I want it, that means I got to have it. That's where the I comes in, the owner. Or if I don't like it, that means I got to get rid of it. It's my job to get rid of this thing I don't like. Here comes the self parading in. I've got to get rid of this thing. So this is how the mind works. The feelings give rise to tanha. Tanha gives rise to upadana. Now, what we mean by that is liking it becomes wanting it. And part of your practice will become liking something without wanting it. For instance, a luscious babe. You can like it. Oh, wow, very beautiful, but I don't want it because I know it comes with hooks. So we begin to start interrupting that stuff at the feeling level. This is where Bhikkhu Buddhadasa really says this is the place to look, to begin to look at your feelings. Because the feelings that come up and arise will then give you a chance to see the old stuff that's buried in Sankara. And these feelings of liking and not liking will also generate thoughts. And so we begin to see that the mind has a sequence of events that starts with an old buried, let us say, cesspool of memories that are mostly emotional memories, but there's also the kind of memories that we would store intellectually through language. But these things don't normally cause us too much trouble. The thing that causes us trouble is our feelings. And so this is where we need to start being on guard. And this is where we practice anapanasati so that we can start to become on guard to these things. And this is where anapanasati and satipatthana and the paticca samuppada work together to become one practice, all based upon the Eightfold Noble Path. And so it becomes just one practice. And so as we continue along, I'll give you more detail about Paticca Samuppada, but this is a very good introduction. Because we have started talking about right view and right effort and right sati to remember to look. And then we practice anapanasati to get ourselves in a really good state, a state of sukha, so that we can now start paying attention to what's happening in the mind. We begin to understand and investigate this sita, this sankara, all of that stuff. So you can begin to watch. Oh, that's consciousness. Oh, that's perception. Oh, this is sankara. Well, this is processing, or this is perception. This is the outcome. This is the salayatana. And you can begin to see these various components in the mind and how one kicks this one, and then that one kicks the next one, and then the next one kicks the next one after that, down through a chain of events that winds us up into selfishness that then is suffering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to be really interesting.
Okay, so let's quit this one now, because I think I've given you a pretty good introduction to it. But we'll begin to work more in detail with how the mind actually works as you begin to see this thing.
Great.
But this is not, Paticca Samuppada is not magical. But it does have a past, a present, and a future.
No. It's gonna take some exercise to really recognize that in my own experience.
But don't go working too hard for it. Just say when it comes up and you see it, aha, I see you. We had to talk about that, and I see that stuff now.
Yeah.
That's the way to look for it, is to be on guard for when it comes up, rather than saying, I got to know it, I got to know it, I got to dig it out, I got to get it. That's wrong effort. Right effort is to stay on guard and watch for that stuff as it comes up, because it will, and it'll hit you.
Nice.
Be ready for it. You don't have to go looking for it. It'll come.
Great. All right.
All right. Well, let's finish this one off, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. See you next time. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.